Today we're letting go of anxiety as a lifestyle. Whew. This was true for me for so long, and still I feel it lingering. I feel the addiction of my insides to that rattle of anxiousness, of needing to know in advance, of all of the topics, the anxiety of all of the topics we've been letting go of over the past 7 videos. With the need for certainty. Causes so much anxiety. And fear-based manipulation is how the external authorities of our culture and society for so many generations have functioned, have gained their access to a position of authority, is by instilling fear-based beliefs and operating systems in the people. And so, of course, we've come to know lifestyle as containing such a strong essence of anxiety. It has become the norm. But that does not make it our baseline, authentic, operating reality. There is something underneath that we can access. The counterpart to this video is cultivating calm and stillness, which, whether if you're into human design, you'll know there's 3 different emotional waves that you might be riding. Or your emotional center may be wide open, which is the most tranquil baseline, but also the most open to absorb the anxiety of others and environments. And so, no matter what wave you're riding, or if your emotional center is open, we need to discharge anxiety, the fear-based beliefs that cause the tension of anxiety, of being afraid of the future. So today we're simply combing through, we're acknowledging those streams of energy in ourselves, so that we can give it permission to be recycled by the earth. So many people in their own anxiety latch on to innocent creatures that are naturally flowing so much fresh life force to slurp it up, because they're off center and they're not tapping into the earth and the center of the cosmos. They are outside of their own authentic spirituality center inside themselves. And so there is a vampiric behavior among humans of latching onto each other for that source of fresh life force and as a dumping grounds of excess charge. But we don't need to treat each other that way, and we don't need to be available to others to use us that way. What we need is to plug into the earth and into the center of the cosmos, the center of the universe, the center of the sky, the center of external spiritual reflection, God, source. It's a place beyond words, and so whatever words you use, as long as they take you into that sigh of relief from anxiety, the trust, the faith in the system of our interconnectedness, to be circulating energy for all of us to be at our best, for all of us to be well. We did just rather define narcissism in a nutshell. And living in narcissistic conditioning inside yourself, or in narcissistic conditioning inside a family home, or in the narcissistic conditioning of our yet current societal systems, where so many people are operating from that off-center place, breeds anxiety, breeds eggshell territory of inevitably I'm going to do something bad and wrong and be punished. I'm going to have to receive all of this excess charge from some external authority punishing me. And then I'll have to live with that in my system. And that can be so disorienting. And it's really a delusional state of that interplay. It is not our authentic way. It is a fear-based, groomed over centuries, manipulated state of the human species. And we're undoing it for our own good and for the highest good of all. And that means letting go of anxiety as a lifestyle inside ourselves. I, personally, as a child, would throw up anxious. Not like bulimic, though I can easily relate in my imagination to choosing that on a landscape of so much pressure to perform and to look particular ways. But I would be so anxious that I couldn't eat, and that I would be throwing up nothing because I didn't eat. And this wasn't all the time, but in particular instances, especially moving between my parents, who both had a lot of narcissistic conditioning in their systems, expressing it differently. But because they expressed it differently, it was like shaking the foundation every time moving between them. Because I'd have to be landed in myself somewhere different for each of them. And I was really, really codependently attached to my mom as an external authority of reassuring me. And what the reassurance was doing was reinforcing patterns of fear-based beliefs and narcissistic conditioning, because that's what she had available to her. But the throwing up too is like, I'm realizing in telling this story, the solar plexus carries anger and disgust. And those are things I didn't feel safe to express, and that I did get in trouble if I expressed. And so, like, I was disgusted when I talk to my inner child now. It's like there's so much disgust for the way people have been operating. My family was, and mostly still is, operating in the way now as an adult I can see the society and government operating, and government being different forms of thinking: academia, religion, science, and politics. And there are so many sweet, incredible people involved in all of those areas. So it's not just to shame or shush those areas of interest and of processing, but to acknowledge that there is lingering thick threads of anxiety as lifestyle through these cultural aspects. And it's important for us to acknowledge that, because those things are really interesting. Science, religion, politics. A lot of us pay a lot of attention to one or many of those. So it's important to notice when the anxiety is what's coming through the pipeline. or if it's comforting information to you because it's like affirming that your anxiety is valid. That's how we've gotten this far into the anxiety, is because the external authorities kept affirming that the anxiety as lifestyle is valid, and that's how we keep ourselves safe and sane, is by continuing to be reaffirmed that the anxiety as lifestyle is valid. No, my body doesn't agree. The calm and stillness is just our natural state underneath, even when we're riding a tribal or a collective or an individual emotional wave. There's always this baseline that the wave traces, and that baseline is calm and stillness. No matter what wave, or if we have the emotional center, calm and stillness is a baseline that we meet very regularly if we are honoring our design of needing discharge and circulation of energy in a very active, ongoing way. This is our access to thriving, is to, as we're doing now, let go. Engage yourself, self-stimulate. To yes, stir up the energy, to discharge, to the charge. Let go of the charge. Yes, you can also gather, harvest and harness charge and direct it, like in the ritual magic of the Magdalene Isis lineage, where we're talking about sensual experiences with ourselves or others, using the potency of our pleasure. And that is advanced magic. The starter pack is discharge and circulation, because that takes you all the way through beginner, all the way into the most advanced ways of working with your own energy and magnetism. But we have to let go of anxiety as a lifestyle, because that will always intercept our efforts. I'm hearing this thought, this worry, like, oh, what if I need that? What if? You are connected to everything. And when you're in the calm stillness of your authentic inner self, you are never without access to what you need or what you want. You are that powerful and transcendental. The limitations are illusions. And we gain more and more felt sense access to experiencing and honoring that through practicing letting go. It's a first step, but it's a first step that leads us all the way through. It's an essential step all the way through our evolution into our highest expressions of this sensitivity and of our sensual powers, prowess, of instant manifestation, of the benevolent manipulation, of the way energy is manifesting around us. Benevolent meaning free from fear. There's been a lot of coercion along the way through the generations that the fear, oh, I love you, I care. And the way of loving and caring has been to be afraid. Anxiety as a lifestyle. I'm protecting you. At this point, it's very debatable and very faulty that fear as protection is not effective, because it magnetizes more fear and more actions and thinking based in fear, which means more stagnancy and rattling and anxiety as lifestyle, interfering with our authentic expression of calmness and stillness, whereby the mind and the body is relaxed and so much fresh life force can flow through and circulate and create the manifestations of our needs and desires met. No force. Anxiety as a lifestyle is full of force, of forcing yourself back to the moment, because your mind is constantly reaching into the future, trying to understand what you need and what you want. But that's only available through the moment. I've got the big cedars out there and all this land. That's where I'm sending this energy to future cycles, and you can send it through you, through your feet, through your tailbone, down into the earth. We're plugged into the earth always, and it is of great benefit to be circulating our attention there really regularly. I am plugged into the earth, reaffirming it in your mind, in your imagination, in your inner vision, with your words, with your attention, and also laying on the earth, being on the earth, sitting against a tree, letting the earth be the kind witness, the engaged parent who is never dumping more charge in you and only slurping the density and heaviness and excess charge from you, so that you are free and in your authentic innocence, in your expression of calmness and stillness, where energy is free to flow through you and manifest visions from that authentic innocence. So as we are letting go of anxiety as a lifestyle, we are letting go of all of the distortions that have come along with living that way. And what a relief. No matter how familiar they've been, no matter how much we've related, it is a relief to let it go. The calmness and stillness underneath is pure relief. And it is sustainably available to you and through you. And if you want extra support, anchoring there. Allowing discharge and circulation to be the answer to everything. Being reminded, workshopping that, and working on your skills of narrating your experience of thinking and feeling to allow more and more detachment so that the charge can be recycled more freely and fresh life force can enter your system more freely. Join JACKPOT, my three-month program coming up. I would love to work with you this way. I can't wait to meet that group of people gathering with me in this way this summer. So sealing this session with one giant flaming blue infinity sign, pressing it into your heart of hearts, right to the point of calmness and stillness that is ever present, so alive inside you.